But saying that, what they do has a lot of limitations in terms of data gathering. So no matter the resolution of the satellite imagery, no matter the algorithms we use for modeling and stuff like that, there is a certain limitation of the things that we know about trees. And there's a lot of things happening on trees. And there's only one way to obtain sufficient data about the tree, to know its state, to know what's happening with it, and that is on the spot, on the ground, on the field. And that is what we do as tree experts. We go on the spot and we evaluate trees and how they're doing, what is their state, and we do that for a living. But for example, in Sofia there's around, let's say, 600,000 trees in the city, around 1.5 million trees in the municipality, and the whole region has around 5 million trees. So that's a lot of trees, and not that many of the experts. So we have around 1,000 experts in the city. How do you map 1.5 million trees, or even 5 million trees, or even 600,000 trees? It's very hard. We use citizens. Why? Because there's a lot of them. There's a lot of citizens. There's around 1.5 million citizens in Sofia alone. I don't know how big Barcelona is. I think it's much more. But you get the picture. And this is one added value. And the other thing is that what we try to do here with citizens, giving them the responsibility of obtaining data, of actually caring about the trees, of actually contributing to the health state of the trees and to the development of the green system, we educate them. We educate them about why trees are important. And believe it or not, that's not always visible, that's not always obvious. Not many people know about trees, about their believe it or not, there's people who don't know that trees actually can improve air quality, or they actually do anything to the environment. They're just some green things that do waste when there's autumn, there's leaves on the ground. And we try to reverse that, educate people, talk about trees, why they're important, how they're important, and stuff like that. So to do that, to map those trees, we have developed an app that is a web-based application. You can run it on any phone, any operational system, even on your laptop. It's mobile optimized, and it mimics and it's based on what an expert would need to as a tool to map a tree. So here is Jordan with his phone, and he's simulating this process now. He's outside the venue with Alexander. The first part is to find the tree. So Jordan has already done that, and you can see he's already mapped another tree, but we'll start from the beginning to see the process. And just imagine that although he is part of the developers of the app, he is simulating, he's being a citizen right now, and he's actually not a tree expert. So he's locating the tree with his GPS on his phone, being used by the browser in this situation. The base map is OpenStreetMap, so it's widely available and it's recognizable, has a lot of data. You can use buildings, roads for references to orient yourself in the environment and stuff like that. So now the tree is mapped. So now the first thing that you receive is unique identification. So this is the name of the tree. This is like your name, your passport. You have a name, but the tree doesn't have a name, so it needs one. It receives a unique identification. And now the second more important part is to take a photo of the actual tree. This is one of the most important steps. I'll take a photo of the tree, actually prove that the tree exists, and whenever you do that, so you have done two very important things. So you have acknowledged the tree on a map, and the tree received its unique identification, and then you have made a photo of this tree. So this sort of become like a passport, and it stays forever there. No one can deny that this tree exists because now you have proof. And believe it or not, this is a very big problem in Bulgaria. So trees tend to disappear, and they actually do disappear. And the municipality says, yeah, well, but you can't prove that there was a tree there. But now we can, because we have a passport of the tree. And then goes the biometry. So how tall is the tree? What is the crown diameter? The crown height also is the single stem tree, and what is the actual diameter of the stem?
the easy step is I know that Jordan is 180.
Yeah.
So I can just do like this.
Tree or dance over the tree. Yeah, that is great. And believe it or not, that's how we do it as experts. We actually have the tools to do it, but when you're on the field, you don't have the time to measure every single tree, so you get a evaluation of 1 or 2 or 5 trees, and then you sort of translate that to the other ones that you're mapping. So now the tree has its height, the light height, so this is where the crown starts, the crown diameter, and Alexander is going to show you how to very scientifically measure the trunk diameter. He's using his palm. He has already pre-measured his palm, and he has recorded that in the system. He measured, let's see, 3 palms. So when you have the centimeters of your palm and the count of the palms, you get an automatic calculation, very difficult calculation of 20 centimeters of the exact diameter of the trunk. You see that the tree is in this case a single stem. There's many situations where there's a double stem, so where the tree comes from the ground. And now, if Danny can go back to the map a little, just for a second, just to show now how the tree looks. So the tree now is three-dimensional now. So it has it has volume. You can display that on a map and on a three dimensions, because now it has its characteristics. So now the tree exists in the environment, on the map, and in 3 dimensions, which is great. It has a passport, it has a name, it has a photo. But now it becomes the more fun part for me, at least, and not so fun part for the, let's say, citizens, not specialists. But I really like this part because it's super interesting. The things that you really can get for satellite imagery is the actual state of the tree. So what types of problems does it have? And we really pride ourselves on having a giant database of tree attributes, we call them. So this is basically more important characteristics of the trees. So does it have any holes? Does it have any hollows? Does it have metal objects, cables? Is it close to a building? Does it have a sealed base? For example, here you can see that the tree actually has a tree hollow. So this is considered a really critical characteristics of the tree. This can lead, especially in certain species, this can be a dangerous tree, because in cases of wind or snow, I think Spain doesn't get much snow, but in cases that the tree has some sort of a stress, it can break, it can kill a person, it can damage a vehicle and stuff like that. It has a sealed base, which is a problem for the tree. It's a stress factor. Ali talked about those. Was talking about those stress factors. This is a thing that actually restricts the tree from getting surface water. So it has to cope with a generally drier environment to survive, which is not a good thing for a tree, as probably you know. And all sorts of other things. And as Danny is showing here, for every damage, for every characteristics of the tree, you can also add a photo to prove that it actually exists. This actually really helps when communicating with the municipality to show them the actual tree and the problems it has. It's a really good example. And you can scroll forever. I mean, it's quite an extensive list. But for the most part, the more important things that a citizen would map is, as we showed you, the name of the tree, the location of the tree, and some of the basic characteristics. Bear in mind that this is Danny is now using more of the expert module, as we call it, of the app. So it has a lot of options. But for a citizen, it would be usually more trimmed down to a more user-friendly application. Yeah, that is basically it. That is how you map a tree, either if you're a citizen or an expert. And we truly believe that this is the way to go to maintain, because especially city trees, but especially street trees, are extremely valuable. They take sometimes decades, if not hundreds of years, to grow to their full state. Every single tree is extremely valuable, and you need to evaluate it on the ground, on the spot, in order to be sure that this tree will have the best quality of life and if it's citizens, it's all of its services. So yeah, that's it. That is it from my side. Thank you.
Okay, so this is the platform. Let's say that we have a city and that we want to have the representation of the impact of trees. The user can actually hover around different areas in a city, and then we can have a map of trees, which was provided by DHI. And we can actually filter them based on height, based on crown diameter, and based on their environmental services, for example. Like I can only filter out like trees up to 24 meters high, or like more than 8 meters high. And this will be visualized on the platform. We can also represent the environmental risks, for example, noise pollution in a city and air pollution, for example. And based on these different values, where we have the hotspots, we will have different contribution of trees in a study area. So if I click on a single tree, I will have different pictures available for that tree. And the tree physical attributes like tree height and crown diameter and their contribution to air pollution removal or stormwater management in terms of monetary values based on the European handbook and CD-assigned monetary values. And these values can be different if a tree is like positioned in a specific spot in a city where we have a certain issue in terms of air pollution, for example. Like here, the NO2 removal is 55 euros per year, while, like for example, this one would be 50 because it's like further away from the risk. We also can define projects, and for different projects, we can develop different scenarios. For example, here I'm going to go through the Frederiksberg, which was another test case, and it was presented in the slides. And for the Frederiksberg use case, we actually developed different scenarios for trees. One was the baseline, like which is the current position of trees in the study area, and like this is the current land cover. We had another scenario where we removed all the trees in the domain, and we run the model, the modeling tools in terms of temperature, and we visualize that. We also made some adjustments for trees, and we repositioned the trees in pocket parks. And this is a hypothetical scenario that we wanted to really visualize, like what would be the difference of these different configurations of trees in the domain. And then again, like it resulted in a different temperature pattern in the study area. And same for increased scenario, where we increased the number of trees in the region. And here you can see the comparison of these different scenarios and the different effects that greenery and trees can have in one small area like this. So if you have any questions,